Hey guys, Chaz here, and I hope to make this little video before I start my little recording session. It's been a long time since I've done recording. The last one I did was, well, for you guys I've seen, was Life is Strange, episode 4. The one I've been working on and trying to optimize because, you know, it's quite shitty how, I optimized my little new recording software. I got XSplit, and yeah, as you can tell, it's very, very, very choppy, and that kind of pisses me off because it shouldn't be choppy. So I figured out the problem, and I'm gonna have to completely redo episode 5. But I'm putting that off because recently, for the past week and a half or so, I've been trying to do Witcher 2. So about a week and a half ago, I should have been putting out videos of The Witcher, but my XSplit does not like The Witcher because it's a disc in there. It's the original version, not the enhanced version or anything like that. And I had to download it from a disc. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing. Is I did a run through, and then I said, you know, fuck it, I'm going to tell you guys what choices I made, so that way y'all can expect what's going to be in The Witcher 2. So I'm going to start off with the prologued. Prologued? Yeah, and it's a bit early in the morning. A bit early, I mean it's 4:30 in the afternoon, but yeah. And the prologue, I ended up siding with Triss. Like, you had a prologue. I sided with Triss. Instead of fighting the giant fucking mantis thing, I went with Triss. So, yay! Chapter 1, I saved Abigail, the witch, from the riots that were going on. I ended up letting the elves take Heron's goods because I knew Heron was a dick. He looked salamander, he looked the part. And I defeated Leo's ghost. I don't really remember who Leo is, but I remember I defeated him. Chapter 2, I cleared all the suspects' names, and I found Raymond dead in the crypt. I had to get a little bit of help with that because I ended up with Kalkstein as my main suspect, and I was like, no. So I went on the wiki and found out that it was indeed Raymond, and yeah, so I completely reloaded from the beginning of Chapter 2, or where they started giving us the suspect lists, and carried on from there, and ended up with Raymond dead in the crypt. And, don't know why, but for some reason I ended up romancing Shawnee for a little bit, and I remained neutral at the Battle of the Swamp, because in this sort of thing, you know, and it's mentioned at the end of the game, he is the Witcher, he is neutral. Politics is not his little cup of tea. So I stayed neutral, and so both sides kind of resented me for that. And I do remember I ended up killing some cannibal. I don't remember his name, his or her name. Chapter 3. I romanced not Shawnee, Triss even further by in the decision where Alvin went. I sent her with Triss, or I sent him with Triss. So he was living in the financial district with Triss in her home, stuff like that, and that was a further step in the romancing of Triss. I sided with the elves at the bank. No. Yes? No. Yes. No. No. I don't remember. I sided with one of them. No, it was. I sided with Yavin. Okay, so I sided with Yavin at the bank. Because at the point that I was standing, the elves had the least financing, and the knights had quite a bit. They had quite hefty funding as far as everything. So of course I was going to kind of even that out. even out their chances. So I went with that, and I let Taller go. The Knight's, not the Knight, King Foltest guy. Let him go, and that was all fine and dandy. And Vitala the Talking Ghoul. That was a weird thing, because I didn't remember her until, you know, chapter 5. No. Yes. No. The prologue, where you're going through the streets and shit. Yeah, if you guys don't know any of this, bit late for spoilers, but spoiler warning. Chapter 4. I let Berengar live because, you know, he is a witcher, and he fell into some bad hands, but I let him live. I told him, you know, I'm not one to judge your choices. You know, you were stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you had an easy way out. So, obviously, you took the easy way out. I mean, I would have done that too. And the Vajanoy and the Murky Waters village, I settled that peacefully, and ended up getting that sword from it. I think it's called, like, Moonblade or something. I don't know. I got it from the Lady of the Lake for killing Dagon. And I also fled the massacre. Oh, no. Before I get there. I freed Selena and Alina from the Noonwraith and Night Wraith curses. How I ended up doing that was with the help of Dandelion. I called him there, and he sung until the sister got there. And I don't remember from the... Oh, I had to get some weird wraith for her, and so that helped cure her thing, the Night Wraith, because I lifted the curse of one of them, and he's like, easy enough. There was like this weird bit where I was going to encounter the Ghost of the Wild Hunt or something, in Chapter 4. I don't remember pursuing that. Because in Chapter 1 and 2, I was like, okay, I'm going to do all the story, I'm going to do everything. Then I got to Chapter 3, I was like, these contracts are killing me. And so I just sort of cut them out. If they were coming along, if they were actually being completed as I was going through the story, then I was turning them in. But unless they weren't, I was just not going out of my way to put in the effort for them. Chapter 5, I ended up getting Raven's armor from Kalkstein, which, you know, is pretty cool, because I've heard it carries over into Witcher 2, along with the blades that I have. I cured Ada, something, the King Foltest's daughter, because at the beginning it was revealed that she had a Striga curse on her, and at the end it resurfaces due to DeWitt? Yes, DeWitt and the help of Salamandra. She's been, you know, as the Striga for quite some time. I ended up with Triss as my main love interest, with a letter and shit like that from Murky Water, and then telling Triss that he loves her. I don't know. I wanted to pick a solid little thing, because that's how I've done it with, like, a lot of the BioWare games and things like that. I pick a certain character. I'm like, not really gonna fuck everyone. Not gonna fuck everyone. Not gonna do it. I'm gonna pick someone. So I picked the witch, because, like, at the end, of course that's gonna do more good. You know, you pick the sorceress. She can do magic as opposed to someone who could do potions. And then Yavin and Siegfried, I think they both lived. Yes. I think they lived through it, and yeah. And then in the epilogue, I killed Joff de Aldersberg, and defeated the King of the Wild Hunt. That ghost sort of thing. I had gotten to the end of that, and then the King of the Wild Hunt shows up. Like, you've already fought this guy, right? You've already fought all the way through the entire game trying to find out who he is, and then you spend an extra 4 fucking hours fighting through this bullshit ice tundra all the way to the final spot, and then you have the showdown with him, and you maim him. And then the king of the Wild Hunt shows up, and he's like, I'm going to take his soul now. That pissed me off, because that would have meant that I would not have gotten the satisfaction of killing him. So I spent an extra 30 minutes killing the fucker. I spent an extra 30 minutes killing the king of the Wild Hunt. And he didn't take Jack's soul. I ended up taking it, and it was pretty cool, because I got one of the most badass lines out of the game, where he's starting to approach Jacques after the King of the Wild Hunt's been defeated. I don't think he's been killed. I don't think he necessarily killed the King of the Wild Hunt. I think he just fucked off after a certain bit. And then I started approaching Jacques de Aldersberg with my steel sword, because steel swords are meant to kill humans. And he casts it aside with magic, and my guy pulls out his silver sword, and he says, Jacques de Aldersberg says something to the effect of that only works on it only works on monsters. And the Witcher then goes to say, yes, it's never been so rightly used, and he stabs it through Jacques de Aldersberg, his chest, and kills him, signifying that he was a monster. And I thought that was cool. So I ended up with the Moonblade, Javalkir, some silver sword, no, steel sword, and then my reward for curing Ada, whatever the fuck her name is, King Foltest's daughter. For curing King Foltest's daughter of the curse, I got the Jabal, the sword, the really badass sword. And I ended up with like 28,000 gold of ore and 30,000 gold. I don't know. Because towards the end of the game, I was like selling everything. I was like, I'm not going to need this shit. I'm not going to need it. So I sold it. And that was that. And I thought that was cool. So I ended up with quite a lot of gold and an empty inventory. I think I had it filled with a lot of potions. I ended up making like quite a lot of those the reduced toxicity to 0 potions. And I was just popping those back throughout the last bit. Yeah. Sorry. Bit sick. But it's going away gladly. So with that, I hope to either tag this at the beginning of the first Witcher 2 episode, or I hope to have it as a separate little episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Goodbye.